So it was like my second or third home game, and I hadn't even been in the game yet. And I had tried to get in the gym, and they stopped me. And they were like, "Oh, sorry, this is the player's entrance." I was like, "I know." He looked at me confused, and then so I was looking at him confused. And then he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, are you a trainer?" And I just kind of was just like standing there. And then another security guard came over and like whispered, "I think he plays on the team."
At guard, it's number 17, Jeremy
Lin. Hi.
Nobody thought he could play. He had to fight for everything that he got.
It's not often you think you've seen something you couldn't possibly see in the NBA.
Lin puts it up.
Wait a minute, who's this kid? Wait, where's he from? Wait, not drafted? Wait, how many teams waived him?
When this guy is playing and Golden State doesn't know he's any good, Houston doesn't know he's any good, I got to imagine that something has to do with he doesn't look the part.
Jeremy Lin came from nothing to greatness. This kid is giving hope to all those kids that think never could I have a chance.
I always told myself my progression is going to be become a rotation player, become a starting point guard, and then win an NBA championship. And people are definitely going to laugh when they hear that. You know, they're not going to be laughing until it actually happens.
And now he'll have to take a seat. And again, Mike, look who's coming in. Jeremy Lin. And you hear a pretty big ovation.
I know God orchestrated this whole thing. There's just too much out of my control. And just the way it happened was just miraculous. This is actually true. After, I think, age maybe 8 or 9, we got rid of TV and we would just get it during the playoffs. We would watch it in the house, and then in the backyard there's a glass door and a hoop outside, so we would just watch through the window. And then anytime there's like a break or a timeout, we'd go out and we'd do the exact move that just happened, and it was pretty much all just copying Michael Jordan and watching him win. And so we loved watching basketball that way, and it was always a dream of mine, but I didn't actually think it would be a reality.
Where did you get this done?
Downtown. Here,
oh, yeah, down in the village?
Take a look. Look at this.
Let me see what you...
The bag of,
hey, that
what do you think?
Beautifully done.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Every kid has a dream. Some want to be a fireman, others an astronaut. Most of the time, dreams are just dreams. This dream starts in Palo Alto, California, a suburb of San Francisco, where a young man learns about faith, perseverance, and opportunity.
在台湾我们只重视 academic， 我们并不重视打球。那时候上完班之后，每次就很累，觉得很累。所以我在想说，既然我看篮球看了这么多，特别是 NBA， 那我就开始练习打篮球。我自己练习了5年，就是像怎么dribble，怎么take a shot，OK， 怎么lay up。 我自己练了5年，然后各式各样的，譬如，而且我特别喜欢练习的就是投运的护哨。我如果有小孩子的时候，在他们年轻的时候，小时候一定要开始带他们一起打篮球。
My dad was taking us to the YMCA. We're still like elementary school. There's like open gym Monday, Wednesday, Fridays from like 7:30 to 9:30.
We would just come home from school and we would just all do our homework as fast as possible, and then when someone couldn't finish their assignment, then we would go and help them. So if I couldn't finish, Josh would come over and help me. If Joe couldn't finish, you know, we would go over and help Joe. That's everything we've always known, is just, you know, having each other and being best friends with each other. I didn't want to play the piano, and I was horrible at the piano. Like every year, the recital would come around and I'd be pretty much playing the same song. And they were just like, this is not working, I'm wasting my money. All he does is play basketball, so let's just let him play basketball. As we grew to love the game, my mom became a huge supporter.
I think she could just see that we love basketball, that we're passionate about it, and she's passionate about us. So whatever we want to do, she always wanted to support us.
She always drove. She was always a team parent for every NJB, AAU that Jeremy played for, that I played for. She was always there. She was always supporting us. You know, not every mom, Asian mom especially, is gonna support their child playing basketball.
你只会 cheese， 你还会干嘛？啊
Strong will. Strong will. If he wants something, he will do anything to get that thing. So he will knock his head on the ground. He will just make himself fall. He will do anything to get what he wants.
Growing up, my family always emphasized God first, school second, athletics third. In the beginning, they weren't sure how long I could play basketball. They were just gonna ride it out and have fun with it as long as we could.
I got invited to a Y League game in Palo Alto. And he's just this little kid. It's just, you know, you wouldn't think it, but he just scored the basketball so well. The first tournament we played, and he just starts just raining three-pointers.
They will say I'm so loud because I will keep talking defense, you know, get a rebound.
Of course, mom's like, how many points did he score? I was like, I told you he was pretty good. I go, I know he's pretty good.
Oh, the AAU team, they never want Jeremy. Even though he's the best point guard at that time, only this particular AAU Metro Mirage want him so bad.
I love being the underdog just because it's just what I'm used to. You know, I would be good in this league, and then people would say, oh, but he can't play well in this league.
Every time Jeremy play against somebody who people say is good, Jeremy play better, then they start thinking that person is not good. They don't give Jeremy credit.
Yeah. There's a $14 extra large burrito that's like this.
Oh my God, you should all eat one. Eat it.
Jerry, you can get the big one?
Yeah. Man versus food. I'm about to beast this.
I don't know how I got so tall, dude. I ate a lot. I would hang from monkey bars. I would lie off the edge of my bed thinking that gravity would pull me and make me taller. When I was 5'3", as a freshman in high school, I remember, my mom remembers this too, I would get in the car every single day and I'd be like, why aren't you taller? Like, this is why I'm so short. She always said, blame your dad, I'm not that short. She's 5'6". For an Asian woman, that's pretty tall. And my dad's also 5'6".
Yeah.
I think my biggest influence on him as a player, the most constant, dominant conversation that we had was him creating for others. In high school, he knew he could get by and do well on his talent. A lot of kids, and him especially, it was all about scoring. And my constant conversation, my constant challenge with him was, Jeremy, you're a creator. You could really be the man if you just embraced who you are as a player.
During his junior year, Jeremy emerged as the Vikings' star. With every game, his skills and confidence grew. But so did his ego.
We were like 30-1 at one point. We were killing everybody. I was starting to get a big head, thinking I was sweet and everything, and then I get hurt.
Jeremy had a tradition of shooting around the night before his high school games. But on the eve of the state semifinal game, the high school gym was closed, and Jeremy played in a pickup game at his local YMCA. That night, Jeremy fractured his ankle, and his faith would be tested.
I just pretty much broke down. I broke down crying. Up until then, like, I'd never gone through any serious tragedy. That was the worst thing that ever happened to me.
With Jeremy on the bench, the Vikings' hopes for a state championship quickly faded.
You know, from a high schooler's perspective, that's like everything. Told him to take a step back and to look at it from a bigger perspective.
I remember my brother sent me this really long letter. He talks about how God gives and takes away. And so God took what I really cared about at that time to show me that I can't do what I want to do, I can't accomplish what I want to accomplish without Him, and that nothing in this world, in my life, will happen that's not according to His plan.
When David faced Goliath, he didn't know the outcome, but he was zealous for the living God.
With Jeremy, I know he puts the order God first, family second, basketball third. And he'll tell you this now, at least. Looking back, it's more of God is in all those things.
And in high school, he was humbled. He learned that he couldn't do everything himself, and he could only put his faith in God.
I told myself, I have 1 year left of guaranteed basketball. I said, I'm gonna do everything I can, and I'm gonna go out fighting, and I'm gonna make sure that we get back here.
He had unusual poise for a high school senior, unusual confidence. There's something about him that I could see why he was a great leader on the court, because you're just driven to him. You can feel his heartbeat. Every close game they had, Jeremy Lin was making a big play. And it was every different way, a three-pointer, a steal at the end of the game. But every one he was in the middle of. He was the guy doing it.
Lin takes a jump shot right side, hits. Oh, a nice jump shot. Lin for three, buries it.
Nothing was going to stop Jeremy from getting his team back to the state championship. And soon enough, Palo Alto faced Goliath.
Inside Arco Arena, it's modern day, and Palo Alto is the CIF Division II state championship just moments away from tip-off.
I think a lot of people just assume that getting to the state championship game, Palo Alto would be satisfied with. Jeremy Lin would be satisfied with it. And it was just much more of a formality when they played modern day high school. Southern California schools dominate the rankings. They're the powers at B. Palo Alto out in the suburbs, not so much.
Everybody said Mater Dei was the team. Mater Dei is the big dog. Mater Dei, number 11 in the country.
The whole week leading up to the game, it was just like, how are we going to get a rebound? How are we going to be able to play?
I remember walking around campus and there were all these reporters and they'd be like, oh, you think you can win? Like, how are you going to beat them? And everyone was asking me, my friends were asking me. By the end, they were like, you think you could beat them? I was like, man, just come to the game and watch.
Along with Mater Dei's decorated history and dominant reputation, this varsity team had 8 players over 6'6".
I was kind of relieved that we were playing Palo Alto. But the more I watched my tape, I just had a feeling, you know what? These guys are better than I thought. You know, and you don't get to the state finals by not being good.
There's Lin. Needs something good, and he finally got it.
We were not intimidated at all and really came out playing our game.
There's Lin. Oh, there's that quick first step that they talked about. Palo Alto on a 9-2 run, and that's over. That kid can stroke the triple.
Everybody on paper would say the size, the athleticism, the quickness is with the Monarchs. But it's the heart that is with the Vikings, and their heart has been on display so far tonight.
At the end of the game, he hit the big shots at the big moments.
Here's Lin. Without that 7-footer, you can go to the rack.
When the game was on the line, you know, he took over.
4 seconds on the shot clock, and Lin is going to have to launch a 25-footer. And raked it in!
Did he call that? I don't think he called that.
It happened.
No one gave them a prayer to be on the floor with the athletes and the thoroughbreds that the Monarchs have.
It's the best feeling to go out on top. I mean, it is a dream come true.
It's why we love high school basketball. It's because of faces like that.
When I really looked at everything a basketball player could do for himself individually and for a team, Jeremy Lin was the best player here. But yet, colleges weren't clamoring for him. He just didn't fit the mold.
After my senior year, I was just dying to play in college, and I felt like I deserved it. I remember it was just a very long process, very frustrating because I was going from Pac-10 school to Pac-10 school. I couldn't even get some Division III schools to look at me. And I was dying to go to Stanford. I would go there and play with them all the time. I would always ask their coach, you know, what can I do to play for you? And yeah, I've always said if I was black, I would have gotten D1 scholarship, but that's my personal opinion.
Well, he's an Asian kid. He's an Asian kid, and he's not 7 foot tall. And you don't see a lot of Asian point guards making it in Division I basketball. Such a simple kind of thought, but was the thinking.
I say he's relatable. He's one of the most down-to-earth guys I know. We're always joking around. We're always, you know, pranking on each other.
Did you see the blue accented stuff?
I did see. You like that blue?
Yeah, I really like that blue. Because when I walk in, I don't want it to be like black, white, black. I want people to be like, dang. Shoot, son.
Different walls need different accents.
These are clearance. God dang. Look at that. Look at this. $10.
I think when people hang out with him, they just realize he's just, you know, he's human.
Good. All right, I'll text you when I'm ready to go.
Despite being named Player of the Year and winning a state championship, Jeremy's only offer to play basketball on the collegiate level was from a small university called Harvard.
My first day of class, I was just super intimidated. I went and took my math placement test, and they're like, if you don't know how to do this, feel free to turn it in and leave. I looked at it and I was like, dude, I don't know what's going on here. So I turned it in, and I was like maybe the second person who turned it in. I was like, man, I just like failed my first test at Harvard. The next day, we had the Chinese placement test, and they gave us a test, and they're like, if you can't read it, just turn it in. I couldn't read it, so I turned it in again, and that was back-to-back failed tests without even filling in an answer. I called my mom. I was like, man, this is gonna be pretty tough, so just get ready.
In a lot of ways, Jeremy Lin going to Harvard was a very logical thing. There were 23 Asian Americans at Harvard whose last name was Lin. And so for Jeremy Lin to show up at Harvard being this Asian American kid who had a perfect math SAT 2 score was, you know, nothing rare. But the fact that he was amazing at this game, the question was then, how did he fit in at Harvard?
There is Tommy Amaker, 1987 graduate of Duke, of course, first year at Harvard, 11th year overall as a head coach, 180 career wins.
With the hiring of former Michigan coach Tommy Amaker, Harvard was committed to a new era in their basketball program. Amaker was a star player at Duke University, then spent 9 years as an assistant coach to the legendary Mike Krzyzewski. The basketball landscape at Harvard was about to be transformed, and Jeremy was leading the charge.
We knew we had something pretty interesting, especially with Jeremy, because of how hard he worked, first of all, and how important basketball was to him, and then his talent. I think he was very much underrated, and I think he wanted to play in the style and the system, you know, that we were going to implement, which is going to be high octane, and he's a hard-charging, aggressive, fearless player.
A steal by Jeremy Lin. He's going to go in for the easy jam.
Looking up ahead, Lin splits defenders and lays it in. All right, now.
My 15 years of coaching, my 4 years at Duke, I've never seen anybody work as diligent and as hard as Jeremy. He came in every day and put the work in. We watched film every day. We did work before and after practice. He busted his tail and he did all the things that we asked him to do.
Top of the circle, deep three, Jeremy Lin.
It seems the bigger the game, the better he played.
It's Big East basketball as the 13th ranked UConn Huskies host the Crimson of Harvard.
Now keep an eye on Jeremy Lin today. This is the type of player that can single-handedly help Crimson pull off a miraculous upset.
He was the best player on the floor. You know, that's saying a lot when you're speaking of a team as the caliber of a Connecticut.
Wow, what a move on the runner off the glass. Timeout.
I think that's when everybody was like, all right, he's more than just like a good college player. Like, he just made a very good team look bad.
Casey had it knocked away and a steal by Dyson. Takes Lin to the basket and Lin blocks him at the rim.
What a block.
Scoring 30 points there, being forced to deal with in every way.
Right back to Lin, top of the key. Pump fake, drives in, throws it down with both hands. Oh, what a dunk by Jeremy Lin.
He kept us believing all the way through that we have a chance.
This guy's leading this team in every category, not just one. I mean, it wasn't like he was just a scorer. He was the best defensive player, he was the best rebounder, the best passer, and he pretty much could do it all.
It was just kind of like those moments where it was crunch time and winning time. You know, who's going to step up?
Back the other way comes McGurdy into the front court, drives down the right lane line, goes up with the right hand, lays it in. 3 seconds left. Harvard back the other way, down by a point. Jeremy Lin bumps at midcourt, lays in, he's fouled.
When I was growing up, I was playing in the AAU tournaments. We would play in games, and a couple times people would be like, yo, take your ass back to China, or like, you're a Chinese import, or whatever. When I got to college, it just like got crazy. It was just like, you chink, you know, can you even open your eyes? Can you see the scoreboard? You know, just like crazy stuff. Not just be like, dude, like, what is going on?
Being in the spotlight brought Jeremy an inevitable byproduct: attention, both positive and negative.
I mean, people look at basketball players in terms of race. A lot of times, basketball is not considered an Asian sport here in America. Be playing on the road, specific gyms in the Ivy League, and they would yell racial slurs to them.
It was shocking to me to see racial taunts in the Ivy League because you think that at that level, certainly in this supposed, very academically, progressively oriented group of schools full of Asian students on their campuses, that would be something that was unthinkable, but it wasn't.
And I just told them it's a sign of respect. Yeah, they're ignorant, but at the end of the day, they're trying to get in your head. You're thinking about what they're saying and not thinking about the game. I think we were just working out, and kind of was like, Jake, can I speak to you for a moment?
He sat me down, right outside the gym on the stairs, and he was like,
I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but I think you can be an NBA player. And he kind of looked at me like, he just saw Santa Claus or something.
I was just like, you're crazy. I was like, dude, you are crazy. My mom, would be like, you can make it to the NBA. I'm like, all right, okay, Mom.
Is this possible? I thought, maybe he really have a chance.
When the question was broached, is Jeremy Lin good enough to make the NBA? That's when I think a lot of the interest started surging.
Can you tell me the history of this blanket?
Yeah, this blanket is legendary.
Yeah?
It's all about Lion King. We have Nala right here, baby Simba, Timon and Pumbaa. This is one of my favorite blankets of all time.
What about the Sesame Street blanket?
No, my second favorite is the Garfield and then Sesame Street.
Oh, man. All right, fans.
Good evening, and welcome to the 2010 draft at Madison Square Garden in New York City.
The first round, we weren't expecting really much anything.
Tonight marks the realization of a dream for the best young players in the world.
We were just all real nervous, just because there's so many odds to overcome for him.
With the first pick, the Washington Wizards select John Wall from the University of Kentucky.
I was hopeful, but to be completely honest, I was like, let's just wait and see what happens. The things that I'm always interested in is race and the way discrimination, rears its ugly head. I was really interested in seeing if a team would take the plunge and take this Asian American player.
It's funny. The team that I had the highest chance to get drafted by was the Knicks, because I crushed that workout.
With the 39th pick in the 2010 NBA draft.
I was like, if I don't get drafted here, I probably won't get drafted.
The New York Knicks select.
I'm thinking if I get drafted, what's gonna happen? I'm just gonna run around hugging everyone. I'm gonna fly to New York tomorrow.
Landry Fields from Stanford University.
10 minutes after the draft ended, Donnie Nelson, the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, personally called Jeremy and asked him to play on his summer league team.
I think everyone who goes undrafted, feels like they have to prove themselves because they do. And so, this is a chance where you get to play against people who are drafted every single night, and you get to compete with them in practice. And this is the best opportunity to, prove to all the other teams that you deserve to be drafted and you deserve to have that contract.
Lin, surprise attack. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Sanders there. Lin protected it home. Wow, nice play.
I hoped that Jeremy would make it because I had confidence in his ability, but I was skeptical in terms of him getting a real shot anywhere. And then I watched him play in the summer league against John Wall.
I think we got a primetime matchup. John Wall, the #1 overall selection. Wall, Creato on the reverse. How fast was that?
I talked to him the day before he was going to play against John Wall. And I told him, it's your one shot. There's no doubt that you can play against the guy.
Lin getting up there.
He's going to be an NBA crowd favorite.
And got to work on the D. Lin went right around him on his strong side.
The fact that he could do that against the #1 player in the NBA draft was tremendous.
Assessing constructive criticism.
No way.
Man.
If you explode on him, you'll have something. You're gonna get your opportunity.
As he splits,
The
spins,
spin.
and oh no, ref, don't you do that.
They're on their feet.
Oh my God, this is about to be a melee in here. Oh God.
Man. Hold it back, hold it back.
Oh, look at the crowd is going crazy.
He's opened some eyes, and if Lin doesn't stick with the Mavs, there are teams out there that are looking at him saying, boy, he fit our system very nicely.
Whether he's in the league this year or not,
He'll have some options.
he will have some options.
I'm just trying to play, and if someone's interested, you know, I'd love to talk about an opportunity.
My son and he both were point guards, and they were on different AAU teams. And so I remember watching them play these AAU games in these local gyms, and I just happened to buy the team at that time with my partners. And one of the first things I told our GM was, look, I know this kid. My son knows this kid. He's really talented. We ought to give him a shot. I think they thought we were a little crazy, but we did. And you know, when you're the owner, you get to do things like that.
The Warriors' IQ and basketball IQ just went up a few points. They signed Harvard guard Jeremy Lin.
I called Jeremy to tell him. He didn't even believe me. He was like, stop playing, man. Are you serious? I said, man, it's for real. Go down to the practice facility tomorrow and sign the contract. It's good. And he was like, man, I'll call you back.
I was like, you know, I picked my little brother up. I'm like, I'm signing with Golden State. I ran to the next room. I picked my other brother up. I'm like, I'm signing with Golden State.
I can't even really describe it because we grew up fantasizing about the NBA, and the fact that we grew up rooting for the Warriors made it just even that much crazier.
Lin has a chance to make history as the first Asian American NBA player in the modern era.
When he got picked up by Warrior, that moment we think this is what God wanted him to do.
My dream was to play in the NBA, and now I get to do it for the Warriors, the team that I grew up watching. It's more than a dream come true.
We know what that's about. Jeremy Lin, Palo Alto High School's own Warrior rookie out of Harvard.
It got pretty loud and people were standing up and clapping, and I just remember looking around.
Grew up a Warrior fan, signed by his hometown team. It's a great story. It really is.
It was so emotional for me to finally get there, for me to finally be there, and I couldn't envision myself there even a year ago.
When I saw him guarding Kobe, I was like, wow. We've been watching this guy ever since we were little. He's there.
Missing, Lee with the rebound. I love what Lin did, didn't foul him.
Ready to return for the Grizzlies. Williams. Lin's got an open look and then threw it to Battier inexplicably.
Welcome to the NBA.
I hate when everyone's looking at me. I hate the spotlight. How am I going to be myself when every time I touch the ball, everyone expecting me to do some crazy, miraculous play? People could see it on my face. I was out there playing, but I wasn't playing my brand of basketball. I was scared, nervous, and just a lot of questions and a lot of stress and a lot of uncertainty floating around.
The ingredient that's missing is the fact there was a player named Monte Ellis and Steph Curry ahead of him.
You know, coaches need to win at the NBA level, and so Keith Smart, who was our coach at the time, really didn't play him a lot, and this is how these things happen.
At first I was like, he knows I can play, he knows I can play. And then I wasn't playing at all, and then I was reading all these articles oh, he's just here to sell jerseys and increase revenue. And I was like, maybe that's all it is. Maybe that's all I'm good for, you know?
I think we have to be honest with ourselves. There was definitely a marketing element to it. I mean, he's a hometown guy. The area has a significant Asian American population, and the way it played out, you know, people went bonkers for that. A lot of what America perceives as Asian is very foreign. Yao Ming was kind of a quintessential example of that, right? And he's like, he's from China, he's from the East, and he's coming to our shores. And whereas Jeremy is like homegrown, he's homegrown Asian American kid from the suburbs. He grew up with hoop dreams just like the rest of us. Seeing a kid like Jeremy on the court in a Warriors uniform, you know, that's a huge impact.
You know, he was happy to be playing for his hometown team, but we weren't satisfied with just being in the NBA.
That's why Jeremy Lin to go all the way to the rim, and he has it taken away.
The Warriors' management sent Jeremy down to the D-League, the NBA's version of a minor league farm system. He was faced with a harsh reality.
The D-League is one of the toughest things when it comes to a basketball career. D-League, you know, it's a showcase. People don't care how many wins you have. All they care about is your stats. It's all about you, and you have teammates, but they're not really on your team. You know, they'll take your job if they can.
You cut off, and then you're the point guard? Yeah. You pass it to me. Okay. And then just wait out there.
What I told him when he went to the D-League was simple: go kill it. Go and crush the D-League, and let's get called up. Because it's a battle. You know, it's a battle. Right here.
I was like, man, like if I play bad, this may be it.
Jeremy Lin drives against Squeaky, tries to get to the rack, throws it away.
I couldn't really sleep because I was so stressed. I called my brother. I was like, I'm tripping right now. Like, I don't know what's going on.
I think for him, it was just like the journey was kind of wearing on him. Because like at every step of the way, you have to like overcome all these odds. And like, I think at a certain point, it felt insurmountable for him. So he was not in a good place.
Lin needs to settle down.
Yeah, he's running out of gas.
Jeremy desperately wanted to prove that he belonged. But in his rookie year, he was sent to the D-League 3 times.
I think getting sent back and forth and the constant yo-yo effect of being taken up by the Warriors, sent back down, the cumulative effect of it weighed heavily on him.
You know, I've always had that desire, and I've always had that within me where I want to prove that I could play in the NBA, but you know, I'm here right now for a reason, and you know, God works in very different ways.
Stay up! Stay up! Come here!
You know, I thought with each game his confidence grew, and you could see it almost with each possession up the floor. And after his 20-game stint, I think he came out of that D-League experience really believing that he could have an impact in the NBA.
It was tough because we knew he could play. It was just frustrating because so many people were so ready to just bury him and give up on him.
It's hard for me because I really love basketball. Like, I love my dream. My dream is playing in the NBA, and I wanted it so bad that I couldn't imagine finally getting it and then losing it right away.
Does anyone in here think LeBron is not as good as Kobe right now?
I think LeBron is definitely not better, just bigger.
It's kind of hard to say. You know better than us, so.
No, I don't know. I just had closer seats.
Older kids. Hey, you guys are in here. On here, in here.
Nice. Perfect in the left, or right. Perfect.
Yeah, I like that. This is a good group right here. Hey, don't move. Stay out there. All these Asian kids are like intimidated by me. I like talk to them, they're like, I'm like, dude, I'm not like Frankenstein.
If they're really tall, you're gonna get stuck and then you'll get called for a travel.
Right here.
Ricky has something to say.
No problem. Thanks for coming.
I remember in the D-League, I kept a little diary. I know that's a little girly to some of you guys, but I like to write down some of my thoughts every once in a while so I can look back and remember. And I remember on December 29th, I wrote about how I actually wish I had never signed with the Warriors. I wish, I wish I could quit basketball because I wasn't having fun. And what got me through those times, obviously I don't feel that way now, But what got me through that time was the number one reason why all the leaders are here today. And that's because we want to let you guys know that God loves me and that he has a perfect plan for me. And that his plan will take me through a lot of ups and downs, but if I stay faithful to him, in the end, I know that he's going to work everything for my good. Now when I play basketball, I don't play for anybody else anymore. I only play for God. And that's the type of purpose that he gave me. And once he gave me that purpose, then that's when I had my peace. And once I got my peace, that's when I got my joy.
Sometimes, a change of scenery can shift our perspective on life.
My roots is important for me to know because it's who I am. It's a huge part of my identity. Understanding where my parents came from, how they grew up, and the culture. So that's why I come back every summer, just to get a good feel for that. I'm very proud to be, who I am. Back on the farm. I'm back up a little bit now.
叫什么？
我，
对，你要叫什么？
你要叫他什么？
阿哥啊。
哦，
你叫到大，要不叫到大？
你这不行啊，
要变了。
他现在已经98岁了，98岁，98
Okay. Seeing where my dad grew up, so 40 years makes a huge difference, just from him growing up here to how we grew up in the U.S. So it's definitely humble beginnings.
他是在加州长大，代表 Golden State Warriors， 然后第一次回到China 来。
毕竟是 NBA 的球员，对吧？然后我们这辈子有可能就这么一次机会跟 NBA 球员接触吧。
谢谢平湖的球迷和市民的关心，以后我要常常来看大家。
Hey dude, I see that rip.
Oh, hey, hey. Watch yourself.
My grandparents are born and raised in China. My parents are born and raised in Taiwan, and I was born and raised in the U.S. And so there's a lot of history and a lot of culture behind who I am.
Tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide? I can open your eyes, take you wonder by wonder, over sideways and under on a magic carpet ride, the home you
What would you like to do right now? I'm about to go out here and judge this dunk contest. This is the finale, the championship game for the Nike Summer League. So I'm about to get into this right now.
谦虚，然后打球起来的，在他身边的队友们都是比他高一个头身。看见自己的天空上来。
Basketball culture here is crazy. The fans, they love basketball. There's people playing basketball all the time on all the courts. The level of competition is definitely growing. Got a chance to see some games, and so, it's definitely awesome coming back and seeing how much the sport has grown in the country. I just think coming here, I'm seeing a lot of really diligent and hard workers. I feel like everybody works very hard and they do everything they can to support themselves and their families. And for me, that way is basketball. And I think hard work is definitely ingrained in Taiwanese culture and Chinese culture. And so for me, that's something I try to pick up on and really embrace.